Good morning. It is 8:45 a.m. on a Tuesday. It is just you and I here. Well, kind of. Actually, Shauna's in the other room. She's on a web meeting, and we have producer O, who is with us as well. He's totally crushing it. Omkar helped us out. We have a slightly different setup today. And why do we have that setup? Well, because life throws things at you fast sometimes, right? So we spoke about that yesterday. And today I had a camera challenge. So we tried to upgrade. And have you ever upgraded something only to find out that you actually just totally screwed everything up? Well, I found that out this morning. Yesterday we upgraded so we could see a monitor and we could see exactly what was going on as we're talking about things, right? And that made Shauna really happy, only to find out that that also made it that was the output for the camera. So now we couldn't see anything at all. So I actually didn't have a functioning camera for the main camera. So we switch over here and we're going to take advantage of that today because I'm going to show you some stuff behind me. So we pull down the green screen and we're going to a slightly different setup because we can ad lib on the fly and it's not really that big of a deal. So welcome. Tune on in and we'll move to topic number 1 right off the bat, rapid speed. So last night, I'm just, kind of hanging out and I get a call. And most people kind of like text me before they call me, but like I get a call from this millennial named Matthew Palmer, who some of you might know and like. And he calls me and he's like, "Hey, are you busy?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's like 9:30 at night and people normally don't call me at this hour." But it's important to him, right? So what's important to Matthew Palmer is he's looking at renting his first home. And I'm super happy for him because after I think 7.5 years, no, not that long, he is now graduating from Texas Tech in the very near future. So he'll be graduating from Tech and he's looking for a place for him and I don't know, I think he said like 3 other guys that currently live in the testosterone home. I don't know what they call it there, but there's a whole bunch of guys up at Tech and they're looking for their first property. And what I want you to do is remember the joy and excitement of your first property, right? Just kind of like think back and see how exciting that is. So he's getting out of school and he's going to be starting a career and there's going to be a couple of guys and they're going to share and they had like this budget. And initially he starts with this budget, he called me in the summer and he's like, "Hey, so like what can I get for like $400? And I'm like, "Matthew, what you can get is the availability to stay with me and then you can buy some food. So if you want that, you can do that." And he ended up staying with Captain Dave at Captain Dave's house. So imagine that, Captain Dave and Matthew Palmer both together in a single residence, throw in a little Eric and mix in some Karen, and you have a nice recipe. So anyways, back to the story here. So imagine the excitement of first-time home buyer, and that's what we need to do. So as I give a direct referral, and I'm going to say you're going to love working with Logan. He's looking for a lease, and he gives me the area, and we kind of walk through that. But the sheer passion and also lack of knowledge, right, from the first-time home buyer is something we have to kind of work through. But this is a client that we need to connect with, and it's super important that we understand the younger generation. Some people would call them millennial home buyers, right? I prefer to call them younger generational workforce members. I think that's actually the term that they're liking to call themselves. They view millennial as a negative connotation, right? So I don't know why that the connotation that everyone calls them becomes negative. But anyways, so they like a different word. So with that word, we'll go with the younger generational workforce members. And they have just like this passion, but we have to slow things down for them and we have to re-explain. So it was important to me to set them up with an amazing agent. So Logan Lawrence, enjoy your time with Matthew Palmer and all of his buddies. And you hook that person up with somebody that they're going to know, like, and trust and can relate to them and has similar experiences, but yet has more experience than them and can build upon that. So that would be super important, right? And we took the time to understand what was important with him, and then I was able to give him some tools as well. So I'm like, "Matthew, you may enjoy TNT. So give it a follow. And he pushes that button and he's like, boom, subscribed. And so now Matthew's going to be getting some more content all the time as it relates to real estate. And he'll be super excited to be learning more about real estate directly from Shauna and myself, probably more so from Shauna, but some from myself. But it's important that when you're talking with these first-time buyers or leasers, that leasers, I don't know. Let's not worry about that vernacular. Let's just cut to it and understand that what we're trying to do is help Matthew out and get him his first place, have him happy, have him understand what it is, have him learn how to start building credit, how to start paying things on time, how to start earning this income, how to save and prepare for the future. So it would be important if you would like to go ahead and maybe speak with a lender, right? And get that person kind of tuned in and know what they need to do. So if we're looking at this home here, we have a real opportunity because it was one person that calls us and asks for assistance. And so then that's Matthew on the phone. And he also has some other less accomplished hikers that he happens to have on the phone with him. And after we exchange jabs and good times and good stories from the past, what we quickly realize now is Logan has a real opportunity. So it's an opportunity to turn Matthew into a home buyer eventually, and each of his other buddies, right? And so they can continue to work on their credit, to do these things, and they will all ultimately have families and have these things on their own. So what starts as one lease that we might not want to do? What starts as a phone call from a person we know at a maybe slightly later than normal time frame? And he's like, oh, am I bothering you now? And I'm like, no, dude, you can call anytime, right? So what starts as that can become not one, not two, not three. And this isn't LeBron, right? But we can have a bunch of different transactions here. So we're not talking Chris Bosh. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about Miami winning all these championships. What we're talking about is Logan selling a lot of homes. So we give Matthew some information to hook him in and explain why he would love working with Logan and exchange this contact information. And what we want to do is start the process. So Logan, make sure that you have a nice virtual meeting. Make sure that we don't take anything for granted here just because it gets sent over. Make sure you always go back to your foundation when you have somebody that's looking for anything, right? And don't just say like, oh, it was a referral sent over from this person and kind of like take it as a cakewalk. What instead you want to do is really invest in this person. So we've invested a lot of time with this relationship, and it's been a really fun one and a great learning experience for myself. So as we kind of go through that, Logan, make sure that you do all the right things, right? And have that first meeting, explain what's going on, explain the process, explain the moving condition form, explain all that, explain the deposits and when they get returned and how much we have to do, right? Those are all important things that you can go ahead and do. And then you will have a great transaction with this. So you can learn from anybody. So I'll take, and I did learn from the great Matthew Palmer, something that I passed along, and maybe that you've seen Shauna and myself do. So this is one of the best things that I did pick up from Matthew is we were in Yosemite National Park, and we're at the base, and we're going to be hiking some good, real good hikes that only true men can make it up to the top of. So we get to the top of Half Dome with Matthew, and we had some really good times, and I learned some things, and you can learn from almost anybody, right? And what I saw is Matthew had a real faith, and it was important to Matthew that he went about and shared that faith with others and made sure that he was living and was being true to whom he was. So Matthew would sit down, and before each meal, he would ask everyone to gather around and to bow their heads, and he would say a prayer for all of us. Now, what Matthew was doing is, each part is different for everybody. So Matthew said something that was important to him, right? And that was maybe more of an overt gesture than I wanted to do. I'm not a person that likes to instill my faith upon others, but yet I like to live it internally. And I understand what's important to me. But what I did get from that is how important it is just to be thankful and grateful and how you can do that. And it doesn't, to me, need to be a prayer or an outward sign or something that other people see. So I try not to do that to others. But yeah, what we did is we took from that experience and we translated it. And Sean and myself, after speaking about it, I came home and I'm like, hey, I learned quite a bit from Matthew on this trip here. And it was really nice and I liked what he did. And I want to find a way that we can do a similar thing without imparting us onto others. So what Sean and I do before each time we eat is we just simply take our fork and acknowledge each other, and we'll tap our forks together, or whatever that utensil is. And that's just kind of our way of taking just a second to say thank you and to be grateful. And so that's what we kind of do, is go about doing that to be truly grateful for what we have. And that's about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Matthew Palmer. Good luck on your purchase. Congratulations on the upcoming graduation, we think. And the party would be truly amazing when that is all completed. Logan, good luck, and let's get 4 sale transactions from this a year or 2 from now. And with that topic, we'll consider that one closed. And thank you for subscribe, and hit the like button if you think you'll enjoy working with Logan Lawrence. Yep. All right, Zoho Workdrive, the desktop application. There's been an update, and it's a nice update. So if you're currently working on an older version of Zoho Workdrive desktop application, then please go ahead and update that. There's an update button. You can go to the web and you can go ahead and grab the new download and have it brought up on your computer, and you can save that. Now, we all know that Zoho Workdrive, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's perfect. So that's the link. We'll chat that link in for you, and you can go ahead and download the new update. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to be syncing between your computer and the cloud, whatever items you choose to sync. So things that are important to me to sync is my desktop. That's where I save all of my individual items. And what it does is it takes Zoho Workdrive and it syncs my whole desktop seamlessly. So everything's backed up. So I'm not worried if like my computer, well, I would appreciate it not happening, but if my computer goes down and it's just like offline, I can get to everything on the cloud. And a seamless backup is really, really nice. And so I do everything where it backs up my whole desktop. So here at Acquisto Real Estate, we're totally cool with you utilizing your computer and all of the Zoho One services that we offer to you guys. So we're totally good with you with utilizing that for your personal needs as well as for the business needs. So it's nice that if you have photos, all you have to do is put them into a folder and that will get automatically backed up. So take your time, understand what that is, and see how these backups work, but make sure that everything is syncing. You can get to them on your phone, you get to it on your laptop, you can get to wherever it is, right? Once you kind of put it to the cloud, it makes it nice and seamless. You can also go ahead and share those folders that you create with others as well and give them appropriate permissions. So an example of some of the things that I do there, and we'll switch to maybe just the talking head, so we'll see what that's kind of all about. So to explain a little bit further, some of the best uses that I have is exactly for this TNT session. So as soon as this is done, it automatically saves and puts it into a very specific folder on the desktop, which is a shared folder. Now that folder automatically syncs, and it's so amazing to me because I don't have to do anything. It's kind of like seamless, right? So that it automatically gets saved there. But when you do that, it automatically goes all the way around the world, and Omkar is able to see that directly where he is. So he can take that file and he can cut it up. He can do anything he needs to do with it. Now, he's halfway around the world, and it's currently evening for him, and he's hungry, and he wants to eat supper. And for that Omkar, I say, we'll just have to wait a couple more minutes, and then we'll get that meal in for you, okay? And then for Anna. So Anna's down in Mexico City right now, and she also, as soon as we're done with this, will get the information. And she starts to work right away seamlessly to get the transcript from today's episode. So we have all these people who are able to start working immediately on something. I don't have to save it. I don't have to share it. I don't have to update it. I don't have to do any one of those things. If you take your information and if you sync your Workdrive correctly, you're going to be super happy. So that new version did just come out, and I encourage you guys to go ahead and do that and update it yourself. I have my whole desktop, everything backed up. I'll never worry about losing anything. The storage, I don't know if it's limitless, but let's go with like it's big and you'll be totally fine. So if you're paying for anything else as an agent, you can go ahead and cancel it. You can just utilize this. If you need help, Zoho One offers amazing tech support. They'll log right in, they'll get on your computer, they'll do that update for you if that's what you need. And after that as well, they can help segment and share and back up the things that you want and give the proper permissions to others. You can also save that with, share the items within our network, or you can also go out and create external shares if that's what you want to do. So chat in if there's any time that you have lost something in the past and you would rather not. Give a thumbs up if you like Zoho Workdrive and you'd like to continue to use it in the future, or you'd like to use it starting right now. And with that, we shall close that topic. Mike's, let's see here. Let's see if we get that better. Mike's rock collection, right? So that's what you're thinking about is my rock collection. And you're like, why do you have this? Why do you show it off? Why do you talk about it? And what's with the rock collection? So, yeah, Anna lost her wedding pictures. That's no good. That's totally no good, Anna. That's totally a thumbs down, but don't like thumbs down the video because that's not what we're really looking for. So what we need to talk about is a rock collection. So I pulled the screen down here behind us and I have this rock collection up here. Now you can't see that all that well, but it's right in the middle. And you can see it when you walk in and you're like, why are there just a whole bunch of rocks? And what I'm gonna do is pull some of them down and be able to share that with you. And what I've done is I've taken these rocks to create unique experiences and to be able to share with clients when they come in. So the clients see these things, and what it does is gives an opportunity to create a bond, a common bond between others, and to be able to share off and have stories and show things that are kind of important to you. So this is one of my newest rocks, and this rock here is from rim to rim to rim. And that was a challenge that we just completed at the Grand Canyon here in 2020, right? And you guys recently kind of heard about that. It's a rock that I picked up down at the bottom and we carried out. Now this to me symbolizes kind of what was going on during that time and an accomplishment that we created and completed. So I kind of do that and share this. But other people are able to be like, no, I've been to the Grand Canyon, and they realize that. Right? So then I pick up other ones, and this is from the subway, and this is from Zion National Park in 2019. Now, as I pick up other ones, I see them from other places. So this is from Mont Saint Michel, and I don't know that I'm saying that right, but I believe this was in France, and I believe this is like one of those islands that has a castle on it, and the water floods, and if somebody attacks them at different times, high tide and low tide, it goes up or goes down, and like all the people drowned. But it was one of those places that was like super hard to capture. And so I show that off, right? So there's just tons of different rocks up here from different places I've been. So it's important to me, but it's also sharing a piece of me with somebody else in trying to create this bond. So sometimes people are like, you should do all these different things in sales, right? Like you should mirror the other person. Like you should go ahead and like nod your head, or you should do these affirmation things. And that's sales. And we all know that in real estate, what you can't do is you can't sell real estate, right? The purchase price is too high. You can sell something like maybe you can sell a pen. You could sell a person on buying a specific color of like a Yeti cup or something, right? You might be able to convince them that they needed a Apple over a Samsung or vice versa, or whatever that is, right? You could sell something like that if you're a salesperson. Maybe you can sell advertising or marketing or something like that. But what you can't do is you can't sell real estate. It's too expensive, right? And if they don't need it, then they're not going to buy it. And if it's not what's right for them, then they're not going to do it, or they shouldn't do it at least. What you can do is you can consult, you can assist, right? You can tell things about, here's what I did and why. And this starts the foundation of that. Rather than selling anything, how about you share a piece of you? And that's kind of what we do here from our perspective on real estate, is rather not say, this is what you should do, but rather say, in that same situation, this is what I did and why. And now all of a sudden you start creating a deeper bond. It's not about mirroring, but it's about sharing and allowing somebody in. And when you do that, you create this bond and then they trust you. So now they're going to know and like you and trust you. So these are all opportunities for you to gain maybe a deeper insight. And the more that you share, what you're going to find is the person that you're sitting across from is going to share with you. Now you have information. And if you listen with 2 ears and speak with 1 mouth and use them in that proportion, right? And listen more than you speak, what you're going to be able to do is give amazing suggestions. And those suggestions come from experience and from knowing, and most importantly, from caring. So when you invest into your clients, right? When you invest into relationships, like Matthew Palmer, like we spoke about earlier, right? When you invest in those relationships, when you're thankful for the things that you've been able to do, that Captain Dave's been able to take us on these vacations, that I've been able to spend time with my wife, that you're able to share those stories and those memories, that's when you create bonds. And that's kind of what real estate is about. If you want that person to buy that first home with you and lease it and then buy it and then sell it and make more money and have a family and whatever that is, right? And help them buy that second home as well. So those are the things where you create a real career in real estate. So I'm showing you something super simple, and that's how it works with me for my rock collection. But at the end of the day, it's not about rocks. It's about sharing a piece of you, okay? And when you do that and you let people in, and maybe it's you're a touch vulnerable, I don't know, but you share. And when you do that, people enjoy it, people respect it, and you create a career, not just a job. And you don't have a transaction. You have a lifetime worth of income. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll conclude that topic. Find what is appropriate for you in that same thing, and we'll hit the button and be done with that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude us for today. We had an amazing day, some great topics from first-time home buyers and Matthew Palmer and stories that we shared and a little piece of me and a couple of things that we do. If anything you found today to be helpful, then maybe go ahead and incorporate that into your own life and find a way that you can do that, whether it's personal, business, spiritual, or otherwise. Go ahead and take any of the items that you learned today and make them part of yours. If you found today at all useful, go ahead and hit the share button and have somebody else subscribe to this as well. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, right? And if you enjoy Zoho, yes, Zoho, you know I'm a huge fan of it, then go ahead and utilize it to its full potential. When you truly invest in the software and you utilize it, you're going to find huge, huge returns for yourself, and you won't have that same experience as Anna with losing her wedding photos. So let's not do that. And let's go ahead and share a piece of you, just like I did with the rock collection, what was important to me. So next time you come in, just ask me to see my rock collection, and I'll show you just not 1, but 2, but 3, right? And we'll bring it full circle, and we'll close today's episode and say, see you soon. Agent meetings this week. It is Tuesday. There should be a bunch of you, and you should be here probably like right now. See you next time.